What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Good morning and welcome to Wake Up and Ball, brought to you by BetUS, your favorite sports book. I'm Richie, he's Tony, and we got a whole slate of Week 15 to get into, man. Woo, what a week of football. We're excited, man. Shout out to everybody that tunes into Roundtable Sports Network. We are building something special here, and it's because of all of you that tune in every single morning at 8:30 a.m. Tony, good morning, man. You doing great? Happy Victory Month. Oh.
Wow. We going to start the morning like that, Richie, really? Is that what we're going to do?
Can you say that to me, though? Happy,
For what? Your season's over, Richie. What does it matter?
But it's still Victory Monday. I'm celebrating. So if you're a friend of mine, I want you to wish me, a happy Victory Monday. So go ahead. Get out of the way.
You know what, Richie? Happy Victory Monday for you and all Jets fans. But I told y'all, I know we're going to get into it, but I told y'all what's going to happen. I'm not surprised. This is what I knew this was what you guys were going to do. So congrats. We'll see if y'all can finish out strong.
Thank you, man. These Victory Mondays are sacred for me. They come very rare. They don't come often, so I'm going to celebrate it. And I wish I can say to you, because you told me about the Jets, I told you about your team, and I cannot wait to get into it, man, because the title of the show is Tua Tagovailoa Exposed. The truth of Tua is revealed. The Tua Tagovailoa stands. The Tuaneers are back in their caves where they belong. And we're excited to break it down right now. Hit that thumbs up button on your way in to the show. We're excited to get into it, man. There's a lot, man. There's a lot that we have to get into today, man. So
Plenty.
I don't even know where to begin. How about we start off with this? We give a shout out to everybody that's tuning in live in the chat. JT, morning, everybody. Jorge is in the chat. Hey, let's go Buffalo. How about those Bills, man? Wow. W, says Jay. Another Bills fan. Bills fans are waiting for us to give them their flowers. Wake up and ball. Tua threw 3 picks. Mahomes took a fall in the Bills-Lions game. Josh Allen did it all. Ooh, Eric with the bars. A happy Victory Monday, Richie. TD sound like Tupac, Hail Mary, wake up and ball. Oh, they like the song, man. Where's that song at? TD decided to play the song Friday without me hopping on. Man, I got to hop on.
Hey, we got Richie getting on there, y'all.
I'm hopping on. Wake up and ball. Wake up and ball. All right, man. First and foremost, it's fantasy playoff season. And yet last night was a big game for me. And I'm hopeful that I can come out on top in fantasy playoffs and advance to the second round. Thank you, Lamar Jackson, for putting on a big-time performance for me as my quarterback, and I'm excited about that. We're going to get into the fantasy football. We're going to get to all these games, Sunday Night Football, even some NBA talk. Let's get into it, man. TD, I'll let you decide what game you want to go into first, or is there anything you want to say before we get deeper into this NFL Week 15?
Listen, man, I just want to say that this weekend told us a lot about the NFL. Through and through. I think it gives us a whole new level of clarity on the pecking order of teams and, how they stack up, who's pretenders, who's real. It was a reality weekend, and I think that now the conversations can be a whole lot more grounded in knowing what time it is for a lot of these teams. So as we give commentary and our analysis on it, we should be a whole lot more accurate moving forward.
We should be, man. We got a lot of clarity, and this is only the beginning of what's to come for a really back end of the season for the NFL. All right, so I feel like with that being said, let's just get into it. Enough cutting corners. You know which one we're getting into first. The Miami Dolphins went up against the Houston Texans. And I was called a hater because I didn't pick the Dolphins to be the team with a winning record. The Jets are the team that can beat the Texans, not the Dolphins. And not only did the Dolphins lose this game, but they lost in despite of their quarterback. And by the way, C.J. Stroud looked pretty bad. I wouldn't say bad. That's the wrong word to use. He didn't look impressive. Yeah, he wasn't out there thinking, oh, CJ Stroud's bad. You just didn't come away with that thinking CJ Stroud is elite. But what you did do, the other side, you came out of, oh, that quarterback's bad. Bad, bad, bad. And I told you guys that the Jets game sold you false hope because he looked clutch against a very unclutch defense in the New York Jets. And CJ Stroud went out there and played turnover-free ball, which was the key to the victory for them, as Tua Tagovailoa, on the other hand, did not play turnover-free football. I'm already seeing my boy TD online getting into it with Kurt Warner all over again. So I want to get your thoughts, TD, of the Dolphins and Texans game. You thought that the Dolphins had a chance to run the table and go to the NFL playoffs, starting with this game, and they failed. And now you have a 6% chance to make the playoffs. So I know you're going to say, we're still alive, Richie. We're still alive. Look at this. I don't care about no percentages. You're done. You've been done weeks ago, but now you're done.
Well, we're still in the hunt, Richie.
Oh, you're right.
No, listen, man. First of all, I didn't think we had a chance to go into the playoffs. I was just being a fan.
You said it.
I was being a fan, being hopeful that we were. I mean, anybody and their mama knew.
Don't retract your statements. You said it with your chest.
And their mama knew what time it was. Yeah, I did, because I don't want to concede failure or defeat. Okay, but here's the reality, Richie. The Dolphins are screwed. We're not only screwed right now, but we're screwed for years to come. Because we paid Tua Tagovailoa, and we're stuck with him. And it's very funny that a beat writer said yesterday, or one of the writers for the team or whatever said, the Dolphins succeeded in reshaping Tua, but they failed in reshaping the team, which I would disagree with. They ain't reshaped Tua. Basically, they did everything they possibly could to make him look competent and get him weapons and everything in a system that'll make him look like he was not a bad pick at number 5 overall. That was the Dolphins' goal, and only goal, was to show everyone that Tua can play and Brian Flores was wrong. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was all at the cost of team failure. But here's what people need to understand. With Tua Tagovailoa, you can't do both. You can't make him look good and the team succeed. You can only do one or the other, because you have to waste an exorbitant amount of money on weapons around Tua Tagovailoa to make him look comparable. And that exorbitant amount of money to make him look comparable hurts the rest of the team. Like, you can't afford a decent O-line. You can't afford a great defense. You can't afford all these things. You can't afford the dogs that's necessary to win a Super Bowl. So you need to pick one or the other. Keep Tua looking good or invest in a good team overall. Because guess what? If you invest in a good team overall, Tua's still going to end up burning you at the end, because he cannot look great without everything that he needs around him as far as the weapons and everything in this system to do so. So the Miami Dolphins this offseason are going to have to make a ridiculous decision. And there is zero confidence that that decision is going to be for the betterment of the team. They're going to make it seem like it is, but it will probably hurt the long term of the team in efforts to try to show immediate success. And ladies and gentlemen, with Tua Tagovailoa, we will never be competing in the AFC when you look at all the teams like the Bills, like the Chiefs, and everybody else. It's that simple. The Dolphins didn't show up yesterday, and everyone says, oh, Tua wasn't the only reason. It was all kind of reasons. All I say to that is this. If we didn't turn the ball over 4 times, we would have won that game. I think everybody knows that. And everybody said, well, CJ Stroud didn't play well either. He was really no different. He didn't do anything. Well, he did the one most important thing that helped his team win the game, and that was not turn the ball over 4 times. In the discussion.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So I want you to make sure that you stay consistent with that throughout the week, throughout next week, throughout the off season, because you're
Stop it,
finally
Richie.
speaking.
Stop. They might make some decisions and make some moves
No.
that change it all, Richie. You can't box me in, man.
Oh, I'm boxing you in, man, because you keep flip-flopping. I'm trying to avoid the flip-flopping because you're finally speaking with your heart.
Oh, boy.
You're speaking like you actually, like this is what I actually know that you believe because I know you deep down. I think that I've grown to understand your tendencies, your qualities of your vision of the Dolphins 5 years in of knowing you as a business partner. So I know what you act. That's why when you come on here and you start lying to people, that's why I get frustrated and I try to expose you because I know what you actually believe. And right there, you just spoke with your heart. You spoke the truth. And all I'm saying is be consistent.
It's not lying, Richie. It's not lying.
No, you just said the truth. You didn't lie. You didn't say one lie. Shout out to Teleporting Goalposts for becoming a new member. Woo! Shout out to Teleporting Goalposts. If you want to spam the emojis, go do it right now, man. Let's do it, man. Supporting the channel is a great way to do that by being a member of this channel. You guys can spam the emojis now. Let's go, man. Shout out to Teleporting Goalposts.
Salute to you, homie.
So are the Dolphins going to fire Chris Greer? Because that's what the next people want to see. No.
I don't know. I don't. The better question is, should they fire Chris Greer? The answer is yes. But will they?
Will they?
I don't know, man. I just feel like they're gonna die on this hill. They're going to die on this hill, and then the narrative this offseason is going to be, we need to give this same group at least one more chance. They already starting that narrative out here. And I think that it might just pass, and here's why. It's unfair to the next GM to come in and deal with all these contracts. Like, the next GM is automatically going to be set up to fail for 2 years. So I think what they're going to do is they're going to try at it one more time, and then if it fails, which is highly likely to, then they're going to make some wholesale changes. But right now, they just signed all these extensions and restructures that extends people out with more guaranteed money. It's highly unlikely. But it needs to happen. But they're always going to hide behind the fact of, man, when you really look at the injuries and stuff, we're very unfortunate. No, that's on the general manager. So, no, they're not going to fire Chris Greer, but they need to. I hope so. That would be breaking news even for me. That would be beautiful, but, it is what it is, Richie. We're going to have to live this without.
Well, I also feel like Mike McDaniel deserves to be brought up. What is he, 3-17 against teams above 500? And that's a record that you're just not going to be able to contend with the league's best. And the Miami Dolphins have woke up to their reality. And I tried to tell you, man, to avoid disappointment. And I saw you get sucked back in. And I'm like, man, I understand you're a fan of your team. You should be excited. But, this is just going to end in a disappointment. Save yourself. And you didn't want to listen, but you did anyway. So congratulations to you. And the Miami Dolphins fans.
You were hopeful for the team, Richie.
Yeah, you were hopeful, which is right, but you got a little over the top. Saying Tua was better than this person, that person. Tua was better than Josh Allen. Tua was the greatest quarterback in the league in these certain weeks, man. Aaron Rodgers is still better.
I will never say that again. I will never say that in my life again, all right?
All right, we'll see how you rank the quarterbacks this week in Glenn's QB Watch on Wednesday night.
All right. Yeah, that's going to be easy. It's going to be easy. Yeah.
Will it? Should be. Because you know who we saw yesterday?
Aaron Rodgers. Vince's Aaron Rodgers.
Prime Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams, baby. Woo-hoo! Are you kidding me? Yes, it was against the lowly Jacksonville Jaguars, but it was beautiful to watch Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams connect as they used to. Congratulations to Davante Adams for getting his 100th career receiving touchdown and 101st. 12th player NFL history to do that, by the way. Isn't that pretty cool? I feel like that deserves to be talked about, deserves to be recognized. Davante Adams went crazy, man. And I feel like
I saw that.
he did it all in the second half. All in the second half. Look at these numbers. 9 catches, 198, 2 touchdowns, all in the second half. He put the team on his back, man.
Insane.
So big time shout out to Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers for connecting like we saw them all those years in Green Bay. This is why the Jets traded for Davante Adams. Does it feel like it's too little too late? Yes, of course. But I'm someone that's going to appreciate this, okay? I'm not going to be somebody like, oh, but we're out of the playoffs. But our draft pick, wah. Grow up! Okay? Enjoy it, Jets fans. It doesn't come often. So I'm enjoying this for sure to witness my Jets go out there and actually execute in the clutch. That's the big part of the game against the Jaguars that I enjoyed, man. They went out there and executed in the clutch. They were down by 5 points with 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Rodgers hit Adams for a 71-yard touchdown. All right, the defense gave up a touchdown, gave the Jacksonville Jaguars the lead back, and then Rodgers marched down the field again with Davante, and they scored, and then the defense got the end. And guess who got the game-winning interception? Do you know who did?
Yeah, that bum
Sauce Gardner! First pick of the season, man. Let's do it, man. Listen, this was the Tank Bowl. This is 2, 3, and 10 teams, but it was awesome to see Aaron Rodgers connect with Davante Adams and the whole team to execute in the clutch and win. So what was your thoughts of that Jets and Jaguars game? I know you didn't watch it in full because the Dolphins are at the same time.
Well, I have the Sunday ticket, so I've been watching all of it, honestly. Here's what I'll say, Richie. I wasn't like overly ecstatically thrilled about the game because outside of Davante Adams, let's be honest, man, Aaron Rodgers was 16 for 30. He completed 16 passes, and Davante Adams was 9 of them. The rest of that roster got to get on board, bro.
A lot of drops.
Yeah, no, that's why I say the rest of the roster got to get on board.
Even Davante dropped some passes early on third down. He had a bad first half, Davante.
So that's the piece for me where I'm like, hey, they got to make sure that they do better than that. They have to be better for their quarterback overall in general. But this is the Jets that I was trying to tell you about. Now they still got a whole lot of work to do. But Richie, y'all going on a run, man. Y'all gonna go on a little small run with the exception of the Bills game. Y'all gonna go on a little run. Y'all gonna show better football. Y'all gonna play better football. You know who we're versing
this week?
The Bills, right? Who?
The Rams.
Oh, y'all will beat the Rams. Y'all will beat the Rams. Don't worry about it.
The Rams are in first place, and they're
I know. Well. Y'all gonna beat them, Richie. Watch. I'm telling you, Aaron Rodgers and those guys, they're coming out to show everybody, hey, we need to run this back. See, here's the deal, Richie. If you beat the Rams, what goes on in the mind of a Jets fan then?
Oh, it's already happening. I mean, I'm all in. Bring back Mike Vrabel, or not bring back. Bring in Mike Vrabel, run it back with Aaron. The fun thing about Aaron right now that we're witnessing, this is the first time all season we've seen him fully healthy. He's been on the injury report all season
with great mobility.
And you know how many? You know who led the Jets in rushing yards yesterday?
No, I didn't know it was him. If it was,
Aaron Rodgers had 45 rushing yards. That's more than Breece Hall. 45 rushing yards. He was moving, man. He was moving. I'm like, whoa. You look at the games where Rodgers was on the injury report with the hamstring and the calf, and you can definitely tell he was limited. And then you see him play last week against the Dolphins, and then yesterday against the Jaguars in the warm Florida weather. He was moving like he was 31 years old. I mean, I was kind of shocked. And even Davante Adams said, he's like, when I got traded here, Rodgers was hurt a little bit, and now we're seeing him play the way that he played when I was with him in Green Bay. Because when Aaron can move and extend plays, that's what makes Aaron Rodgers dangerous. That's what makes it dangerous. So, listen, I know that it was against the lowly Jaguars, but the reality is Aaron Rodgers is healthy, and he was playing good ball, and he executed in the clutch. So I feel like there's a lot that needs to be said. I'm not 100% sold in the idea of bringing Aaron back, but somebody in the chat let me know a better option than Aaron Rodgers next season. Somebody, please. Because this is – and also, Aaron Rodgers – let me just show you guys something. Because you let me know. What's a better move than bringing Aaron Rodgers back? Is there a better move that I'm missing for the Jets for a quarterback next season?
No, I'm telling you, it is Aaron Rodgers, and then finding your guy for the future after him. So,
like, draft a quarterback and let him sit behind Aaron next year. Is that delusional for me to say that?
No, it's not, Richie. But again, who are you going to draft though?
Aller from Penn State. Now, Aaron Rodgers in his last 7 games, 13 touchdowns, 1 interception, 1,500 yards, passer rating of over 100.
And how many games?
7 games. This is him healthy. 13 touchdowns, 1 interception, over 100 passer rating, 1,500 yards. Like, this is what happens when Rodgers is healthy. This is what happens when Rodgers can finally get some rhythm. And a lot of these games the Jets lost happened with the defense, right? Against the Patriots, 2 touchdowns. The Jets lost the game against the Patriots because the defense gave up the clutch touchdown. Against Houston, they won that game. Arizona, that was just a nightmare game from the defense. Kyler Murray absolutely picked us apart. The Colts, Rodgers led the team to get a clutch winning drive, and then the defense sold and allowed Anthony Richardson to go out there and win the game, okay? The Seattle Seahawks, the Jets were up 21-7, and then the defense sold and allowed them to come all the way back and win the game. And then we had against the Dolphins, Aaron Rodgers played pretty well, 339 yards, and then last game against the Jaguars, 3 touchdowns. So, like, these are all the games that Rodgers played in where you can't point your finger and say this was his fault. Like, I'm sorry, Jets fans, you let me know. Is Aaron Rodgers the sole blame of us being 4-10 this season?
Yeah, but Richie, let's back up for a second. See, the narratives are starting to shift and change. See, before it was 3 weeks ago, it was his fault. And I'm not saying you said it was his fault, but you weren't dismissing the fact that he contributed to it. Now, we can't say that it's his fault. I've been trying to tell y'all it ain't never been his fault because you've always this was supposed to be a defensive-led team this year. And Aaron Rodgers just played competent and we'll be all right. Defense didn't show up. Aaron Rodgers trying to do more than he should have ever needed to. Now that Aaron Rodgers is doing more, the defense playing a little better, you're looking like an actual competent team. But again, man, run it back, get you a nice coach in there, and you might be shocked at having an 11 or 12 win team. Like, literally, I don't care what happened this season. I truly believe that the Jets are a 10-plus win team. This is why y'all got to stop defending Salah.
And you also have to look at the context, TD. Look at the beginning of the season. How do we lose to the Broncos? Field goal kicker.
Yeah.
How do we lose to the Bills? Field goal kicker. Late game execution from the coaches. And, of course, I've been harsh on Aaron Rodgers. We all expected him to be better this season. But if you go back into the games and you really break down why the Jets have lost, we were, before yesterday's game, 0-6 in terms of games decided by 6 points or less. A lot of those games had to do with late game execution, late game coaching, late game kicking. A lot of those, of course, Rodgers is to blame and other things. But the whole point is, Rodgers is not the whole reason why we are failing this season, which is why I think this is the season where he's getting back off the Achilles injury next year. I also think the expectations will be a lot less heading into next season, which is big. No Jets fans going to think we're going to the Super Bowl like we were this season. And, we got nothing to lose next year. Bring in a new coaching staff. Let him, develop a new culture with Aaron. I mean, look at what Davante Adams is doing. I mean, that was prime Davante. Who would not want to watch a full offseason of Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers get back in sync with Garrett Wilson? Name a better number 1, number 2 in the league than Davante Adams and Garrett Wilson playing like that. It's hard to find.
And Lazard is that little secret weapon on the back end. I'm telling you, just
yesterday.
Yeah, I get it, but he's still. I'm telling you, it takes an off season where Aaron Rodgers does not go to Egypt. Okay. And maybe he still can go to Egypt, but at least you'll have an off season of this man having played football, all the little bugs and spider webs are out of him from being off for a full year. I just felt like it was a travesty how everybody acted when the man missed the full year of football. And y'all expect him to go out there and compete with Mahomes? Be on that level? But the thing that you got to appreciate as a Jets fan, are you not seeing him get a little better and better?
Yeah.
That's what matters, man. Here's the problem. You all were set up with the high expectations of the season.
I know. That's the problem, in my opinion. I agree. So I think that also a big part of yesterday's game that needs to be talked about is the offensive line was fantastic. That allowed Aaron Rodgers to do what he did. He had only was sacked once. Olu had yet another perfect day. And you know who he dominated? Josh Allen, the edge rusher for Jacksonville, who was a pretty good edge rusher. He went out there and completely dominated him. And, the tape is out there. And it is a beautiful thing of tape to watch. I mean, you look at what Olu Fashanu is doing for the New York Jets. He is absolutely dominating. And I feel like Jets fans are very, very happy to witness our guy, Olu, go out there and dominate the league as the new tight end for the Jets. You see the tape right here. It don't lie, okay? It don't lie. Number 74 is locking things down. The blind side for Aaron Rodgers was completely shut down. And that is another reason why he was able to go out there and dominate, that being Aaron Rodgers. So a lot of pluses to look forward to for next season. The Jets may have found their franchise left tackle, and look at that, just completely burying. That's Josh Allen right there. You see that? Woo! I got to rewatch that, and then we'll move on. This is the play. I remember watching this live. This is Josh Allen. I don't know. He changed his name, so I don't remember what his new name is, TD. But this is the edge rusher for Jacksonville that is elite, and here's Olu. Watch what Olu does, baby. This is a grown man move. Whoop! Down to the grass. Pin him to the... He's like, oh, look at that. He's on one knee. He's looking up like...
Listen, let's call it what it is. It's a win for the Jets in their first round pick, knowing that you have a bookend for the future. All of this, we should have got Brock Bowers, man, y'all delusional. Y'all are extremely crazy if you really believe that. The Jets hit on this one. This is why you'll be able to keep the train rolling, because you're hitting on draft picks, but you got to keep it up.
Absolutely. I agree. All right. Let's get into some. Is there a super chat that came in? Yes, there was. My merch just arrived. Can't wait to rock this soon. Let's go. Send us a picture of the merch on X and tag us. We appreciate all the people that get the merch.
Wait, what team he repping?
I think that's Staff Boy. He's the Bills fan.
Oh,
speaking of the Bills, we got to do it, man. How about the Bills? They went out there and beat up on the best team in football, the Detroit Lions. Woo! What a game. Josh Allen put on an MVP performance, 4 total touchdowns, went toe-to-toe with Detroit. They needed to get a lead early in this game for them to win, and they did just that. They had a lead. They protected it. Dan Campbell goes for the onside kick with 10 minutes to go, down by 10. I don't understand that play call at all. But, man, this was one of those games that the Bills needed after their loss last week to the Rams, and they did just that. Your thoughts of the Bills beating the Detroit Lions? Are you taking them seriously as Super Bowl threats now, TD?
Yeah, Richie. They're the best team in the AFC. The Buffalo Bills are the best.
What about
team
the NFL?
I can't go that far yet, but they're top 3. You want to know why? Because I'm not going to overlook the Philadelphia Eagles and the Minnesota Vikings right now. They still have to be able to beat Baltimore, who showed that they obliterated the Bills early this season. But overall, the Bills are the best team in the AFC. Okay? Possibly the NFL, but I'll stop disrespecting the Eagles in Minnesota. Let's see how that turns out. Let's see if Minnesota can win the NFC when they face the Lions in the last week of the season. Can the Eagles come up and take it all? We'll see. But, oh, man, the Bills just remind me that the NFL is just so healthy these days. It's so healthy right now. I'm not going to sit here and try to make it any other story, Richie. The Bills are dominant. They're dominant. And I got to use my own medicine. I always talk about the Baltimore Ravens beat the Bills. That my argument with that is only about the MVP. But it was an early season loss, and I don't really be caring about early season losses or wins. Whenever it comes to how good of a team you are, in the first 6 to 7 weeks of the year, anything can happen. Teams are figuring each other out, trying to figure out their identity. I don't really care. And that's when that loss took place. The Bills are rolling on all cylinders. They could put up 40 on any given week. The only thing that's going to slow the Bills down is a top defense and a top offense combination. See, I've never been high on the Lions defense, by the way. Now, yeah, they blow out scrub teams, but I've never been that high on their defense. But Philly and Minnesota, they got the defense for you. I don't think you plucking up 40 on them. Okay? But they also have the offense, and I think Minnesota's offense might be better than Philly's. But they don't have to worry about each other. This is why I said what I needed to say. The Bills are the best team in the AFC, and they are the AFC favorites to go to the Super Bowl now. But can they beat the Vikings or the Eagles? We won't know. I don't think they play each other on the back end here, which they don't, because the Bills, the rest of their schedule is easy. This man, I think that they might beat the Chiefs in the playoffs now, Richie.
Yeah, especially with Mahomes hurt. I mean, that changes everything in the AFC.
Well, a high ankle sprain. If the Chiefs are smart, they'll sit him into the playoffs, and then he should be completely healed in 3 weeks from a high ankle, right?
Yeah, but that's going to put the first seed in
jeopardy.
In jeopardy for the Chiefs, which is a big deal. Allen threw for 8 miles in Detroit, Eric says with the $2 super chat. Get it?
8 miles. Yeah, I get it.
Good
one. Yeah, Eminem 8 Mile.
Yeah. Hey, cultured. All right.
No, I don't get you, Richie. You like think I'm under this rock or something, man. That's just all the gadgety stuff, man.
That's just the gadgety stuff.
Yeah, I'm cultured, Richie. Beyond.
So right now I am going at it with a Brock Bowers fan on X, by the way.
Why?
Because I quote tweeted that film I showed you of Olu. I quote tweeted it, but Brock Bowers. And we have all the Brock Bowers people in the replies. Yeah, well, and then defending Brock Bowers. Oh, it's so fun to do it.
Insane.
But man, the Buffalo Bills, I put a poll up. Are the Bills the best team in the NFL? You guys vote. What were you going to say?
I don't think the Chiefs need to worry at all, Richie. Here's why. They're already up 2 games, right? So first of all, they'll need to lose 2 games. Well, never mind. I see their schedule. They got the Texans on the road versus the Steelers and on the road versus Broncos. If I were the Chiefs, I would sit Mahomes next week versus the Texans. I still feel like the Chiefs.
It's going to be a big hit. The Chiefs are on Christmas or that new Netflix special. That's going to hurt the ratings.
No. But again, are they going to keep Patrick? First of all, just because he got a high ankle sprain, does that mean that they're going to sit him for sure?
No, but they should, right?
I think they should next week versus the Texans. I feel like even with the backup quarterback, you can get a win versus the Texans. That defense, which is better than our defense, can really hold CJ Stroud down. And I think with your backup quarterback, you have enough to beat the Texans. I think so.
Off topic, but not really. Are the Texans a team that you think could actually go on a run in the playoffs?
Not at all.
Not at all. They stink. Boo.
They don't stink, but they're not. They're playoff contenders. They're not Super Bowl contenders.
Now I have another question. So far, my prediction is coming true, right?
About
the Baltimore Ravens. They took care of business like we expected. Lamar Jackson, 5 touchdowns. They blew out the Giants. Now, listen,
every time I looked up, he was a highlight.
Now, shout out to Lamar. Again, he's my quarterback in fantasy. Got me 36 points in fantasy. That was big time. Big time shout out to you, Lamar. Lead me to the championship. especially with all the money I lost to the casino in Florida. I need to win my fantasy league, TD. Okay, that's going to be over $1,000 if I win it. But listen, I think that this game, nothing really to say other than this. I think the bye week for the Ravens was perfectly timed because now they're recalibrated. And I said before going into this week, I said it all season long, I have the Ravens winning the AFC North. Mm-hmm. And now look what just happened. The Ravens beat the Giants. We don't really need to break that down. But this is the game we got to break down next. The Steelers losing to the Eagles. This flips everything in the AFC North. Okay? Now you have the Steelers and Ravens facing off against each other for that division. I'm predicting the Ravens win out. And the Steelers, they have to go up against the Chiefs, right? And I know that now Mahomes is injured, so that game could be more winnable for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But what was your thoughts of the Philadelphia Eagles getting the job done? Because the Eagles are another team that narrative-wise across the league, nobody takes seriously. But they just beat the Eagles at home. I'm sorry, the Eagles just beat the Steelers at home convincingly. Jalen Hurts had a very good performance. And they basically reminded the people they are a team to be reckoned with. They got the same record as the Detroit Lions. Think about that. The same record.
Which one first, the Eagles or the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Well, we're talking about the game, so go ahead.
Well, listen, first of all, Eagles are that's how I view Buffalo right now. They're dominant. They are dominant, but here's the deal. Eagles are probably going to have the tougher road to get out of the conference to make it to the Super Bowl, with Detroit, with Minnesota, Green Bay still playing great football on all cylinders. But the Philadelphia Eagles, I can't put them above the Detroit Lions. I just think that those are two great teams. So they took care of business, and they did it in dominating fashion against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's what was shocking above all, that somebody finally stopped Russ from cooking. But Eagles have had the top defense all season. It's so underrated what Fangio has done in Philadelphia. It goes so unnoticed. All that slander from the Miami Dolphins fans and organization and all of that. And now he's in Philly turning tables, man. There's not much to say about the Eagles other than the fact that I'm not going to disrespect them anymore, okay? Their remaining schedule, they have 3 division rivals, Cowboys, Washington, and the Giants. They'll be the favorite in all 3. This week, on the road versus Washington is pretty much, to me, their last test. The other guys have to come to their home, and both teams look like they're going to be trying to tank. So all the Eagles have to do is finish out strong versus the Commanders. And this is going to be a slugfest at the end of the season, Richie, because you also got the Lions who got to play Minnesota. So it's going to be interesting to see how that shapes out in the NFC. But on the AFC side, I know you're talking about everything is still alive because Pittsburgh lost. Well, here's the deal. Let's look at Pittsburgh's remaining schedule. It's going to come down to this game this week, Richie. If Baltimore loses, does it matter? I understand Baltimore may win out after that, but if Pittsburgh beats Baltimore, you got the Chiefs after that with a banged-up Mahomes, and then you got the Bengals who probably will dial it in at that point.
No, the Ravens' path is they have to win out. If they lose to the Steelers, it's a wrap.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. It comes down to this weekend. This is all that matters. This weekend, the Ravens have to come out and beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, the good thing is the Ravens will be home. Mm-hmm. The Ravens will be home. But even if the Ravens win, it's still going to be tough closing it out because you got the Chiefs and the Bengals for Pittsburgh, and the Ravens have a more favorable schedule. But I won't sleep on the Browns and the Ravens. Don't forget what happened last time. Didn't the Browns obliterate them?
The Browns, yeah. Not obliterate, but they won.
I mean, I thought they did a number on Lamar in that game. So It's going to be very interesting how this all shapes out. And Richie, I hate looking at those standings, man. It aggravates me because a lot of people didn't realize this. When the Chargers lost, if the Dolphins would have just won, would have been one game out. One game, that's it.
I know the Chargers losing was big I mean, the Broncos winning was not big for you guys. The Chargers losing, you guys would have had you would have been what, 7-7?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Speaking of that, that's definitely a good game I want to talk about because woo, my predictions coming true with these Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. I said beginning of the season, watch out for Baker Mayfield. I was hyping up Baker. I had the Bucs winning that division all season long. They had adversity strike with Evans going down, Godwin get down. Mike Evans is back. And how about Baker Mayfield and that team just going into LA? Wow. Very impressed by Baker Mayfield. Are the Buccaneers a team to watch out to get hot at the right time and go on a run in the playoffs? Because why can't they? I mean, what team is going to be in their way in the NFC? I think that they're a team to be reckoned with. I mean, the NFC is loaded because at the end of the day, if the playoffs started, they would be facing off against the Packers, who are definitely a very good team in Tampa Bay. That'll be a great playoff game in the wild card round. But Baker Mayfield is on a mission. He is running the rock with efficiency. He's passing the ball. Mike Evans is a Hall of Famer. Hey, I told you guys, watch out for Mike Evans to still go after that 1,000-yard streak, even though he missed a lot of games. And they went into Los Angeles in Harbaugh's home and put a beat down on him, man. What were your thoughts of that game against the Chargers, the Buccaneers coming out on top?
Well, first of all, congratulations to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're going to win the division now. Atlanta just literally, Atlanta should win tonight and make it closer, but Tampa, man, they got the Cowboys, the Panthers, and the Saints. They're probably going to win the division. So Atlanta just blew it. Let's just call it what it is. Atlanta blew every opportunity they had. But here's what I'll say. I'm not worried about Tampa. Best case scenario, they win in the wild card round and then get bounced. That's the reality. And
you
that's
don't think they're a team that could pull off the upset against
No. The best case scenario, they can win in the wild card round. And that's a stretch, Richie, because as of right now, even in that wild card round, you're talking about Green Bay first round. You're talking about Green Bay. And the only way I see you winning in the first round is if you match up with Washington, if things turn out that way. And now I'm not counting Seattle out just yet. They're still in it. But yeah, man. Well, is that official done?
No, I don't know, but he left the game yesterday, so.
Yeah. I mean, we got to wait to see on that situation because that could crush them. But yeah, Bucks, they're always a hot team when healthy. But it's only going to take them so far. That ain't Tom Brady behind there. That ain't Tom Brady behind that line.
Baker looking like it.
No. No. He can look like it one time in the playoffs, but not throughout. But here's what I'll say, Richie. You got to give that Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive line a little more credit. I was watching that game, and it wasn't the most beautiful sight in the first half. But in that second half, you just kept seeing the Chargers D-line just miss over and over and over, coming around the edge, pressure coming, and Baker stepping up and to avoid it, just missing. And all that extra time, and he just kept on finding guys, especially Mike Williams. Evans. And that's what it came down to. The defense, they bit a lot yesterday with the Chargers, and this team is led by the Chargers defense. That's why they were doing what they were doing in the first half. Second half, that defense imploded, and Herbert couldn't do enough. And let me tell you what this all stems to, Richie. The Chargers haven't truly been able to play their game ever since J.K. went out. They're a more balanced team. They were getting 6 yards a carry almost. Now with, Gus, it's like 2 to 4 on any given. That's the difference, man. Their identity has switched, and this team isn't built yet to put it all on Herbert because of the weapons. Lad McConkey's still favoring the injury, but he's out there. But at the same token, this team isn't built to be carried by Herbert without the weapons. That's just the reality. So the way Harbaugh's team is played, it's all about balance, and they're not able to have the best of balance. All right. That's what I think is going on. Now, will the Chargers all of a sudden implode? I don't know, but here's what I'll tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, don't be down on the Chargers. I said it a while back, just like Denver. These are two teams that have already exceeded expectations. See, we see a team exceed expectations, and then if they struggle on the back end, they're imploding. No, they've already won this year. Just to see that they're headed in the right direction with the incomplete team, it's already a victory for them. So Chargers fans, don't be down. Again, you want to make the playoffs. You got to finish strong to make the playoffs. And when you look at their remaining schedule, Broncos, big test. You're going to beat the Patriots and you're going to beat the Raiders. So you're getting 10 wins. But that Broncos game could serve to be huge next week. And you'll be at home. So that's going to be a big game, Richie. Broncos, Chargers.
Do you think Mike Evans will keep the streak alive? He's at 749 receiving yards with 3 games remaining. Does he get to 1,000 yards?
They're going to make sure he does. They're going to make sure he does.
150 something? I mean, I think
and this is with the injury this year, right?
Yeah. He's played in 11 games.
They're going to make sure he does. What's the remaining schedule for them again, Richie?
Buccaneers schedule. Let's see. Buccaneers got the Cowboys next, the Panthers, and the Saints.
So he needs 250?
251.
85 a game, 84 a game, 83. Yeah, 84 a game. He needs 84 a game. They're going to make sure he gets it.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it's absurd if you look at his career numbers.
Yeah, that's
Mike
crazy.
Evans, he is just on another level. You look at it, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. And you know who's going for that record?
Oh my gosh. Stop it, Richie.
Stop what?
Stop
what? He's going for it. Look at that. Garrett Wilson at 933 yards, right? He has, look at this. I'm not making it up. Where is this stat? There we go. Look at this. 1,000 yards as a rookie, 1,000 yards in year 2. He's on pace to get 1,000. I mean, and Garrett Wilson said with his own eyes, he mentioned the Mike Evans thing. He wants to have 1,000 yards every season. So you know that he looks at Mike Evans. That's called consistency, right?
Yeah.
Garrett's going to do it.
It's going to be impressive, Mike Evans doing it this year after missing games. First ballot Hall of Famer.
He's probably the most underrated, underappreciated wide receiver in this game.
He just does his job. He just does his job and does it well and doesn't do all that barking and stuff, you know?
Nobody cares. Nobody talks about Mike Evans. I just don't get it. He's like the best receiver in the game. Folks, as you know, this show is being brought to you and powered by BetUS Sportsbook, the #1 online sportsbook on the face of the planet. They are powered by BetUS right here on Roundtable Sports. You got all your favorite prop bets live. We got a doubleheader tonight from Monday Night Football. Chicago headed to Minnesota. Atlanta headed to Vegas. If you want to take advantage of the promo code YouTube150, you will get a 150% bonus in your first deposit, 125% on your next 2. That's all the way up to $2,000 using the promo code YouTube150. All right, so shout out to BetUS Sportsbook for being the online sportsbook of Roundtable Sports. The Vikings have a chance to tie with the Lions at 12-2 tonight, by the way. That's crazy. Can you imagine that? I mean, we all expect them to, going up against Chicago. Upsets happen, you never know. But if the Vikings win, the Vikings, the Eagles, and the Lions are all 12-2. Sam Darnold out there. Do you have the Vikings covering the 7 spread at least? Or do you have them just outright winning? Is it going to be a close game tonight, or the Vikings going to put the beat down?
I don't know if they'll cover the spread. You know what, Richie? This game is bigger than people think, and I'm not just talking about winning the same amount as the Lions and the Eagles. It's time for the Vikings to make a statement. This is a game where the Vikings need to beat up on Chicago 40-17. Like literally, we're up here with all y'all. We up here, Eagles. We up here, Bills. We up here, Lions, and we'll see you in the last week of the season. Don't go out and give us a 27-24 nail biter, because it's time for you to show that you're actually one of the elite teams. This is the Chicago Bears, who can mess you up and it's a divisional game. But I'm sorry, it's time for a statement for Minnesota because that's what this is about. Sam Darnold needs to have one of his best games of the season. That defense needs to rock and roll. I think they will, Richie. I think they're going to blow the Chicago Bears out.
Ooh, all right. Blow them out. Interesting prediction. Guys, who do you got winning tonight, Vikings or Bears? Please don't forget to hit the like button as well. We would appreciate that. We're trying to get this to well over 100 likes. We're at 76 likes right now. We can get way more than that if you guys can simply smash a like button and subscribe. We are also inching close to a goal of how many subscribers? 19K subs. 19,000 subscribers. Road to 20K here on the Roundtable Sports main YouTube channel. Much love to everybody that's tuning in. All right. We have the Washington Commanders went up against the New Orleans Saints yesterday. That game came down to the wire, which is wild, but the Commanders were the ones to come out on top, I believe. Big game for them. What was your thoughts? I mean, this is the game you expect. The Saints actually had Rat-a-tat-tat out there playing well, but the Jane Daniels-led Commanders were the ones that come out on top.
There was still hope. There was still sense of we're not out of this yet for the Saints. So Ratatouille wanted to come out there and do a little something and try to keep the team in it, but the Bucs done ran away. It's over for the Saints. But Washington, man, Washington reminds me of Houston. You see what I'm saying? It's like
they're going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you remind me of Houston. You're good enough to make the playoffs, but you're not dominating anybody in the fashion that makes you feel like you're a contender. You're just one of the better teams in the league on the low end of it. And again, Washington fans all around the world, just like I said with the Chargers in the Denver, you've exceeded expectations. Your season is already a success. Oh my gosh, we imploded at the end and didn't do anything. That's not what's going to happen. But at least I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. But understand, you're already headed in the right direction. Anything on top of this is a bonus. Anything less than anything like a massive crash, it's okay. And that's where, that fan bases have to realize, Richie, right now they're pivotal. We want to do this. We want to win a Super Bowl. I get it. But just understand that this is a process and your coaching staff and your general managers already have you ahead of schedule. But don't let that blind you from thinking that if it doesn't go well in the end result, that it's a failure. You've already won. Your rebuilds and everything are already headed in the right direction. Now you get to keep building on top of it. So, Washington, congratulations on a great season. Good job on a solid win. McDaniels was very efficient. Great game for the most part. And, hey, Washington, they'll get in the playoffs and they'll get bounced early. Maybe in the first round, maybe second. But I do not see this as a team that's going to go far and be in a NFC championship round or anything like that.
Now, there is a team that I think we had to take seriously in the NFC that could be in the NFC championship game.
Green Bay Packers.
Green Bay, man. That's a team that people are sleeping on. Now, the Seahawks, they were in first place. They lost. Now the Rams are in first place. But the Green Bay Packers had playoff success last year. They snuck in, and they played well. Watch out for these Packers, man. Like, the NFC is so loaded where any team in the wild card round, maybe besides the Commanders, could go on a run. And they're all the teams in the NFC North. You got the Packers and the Vikings, who are the best teams in the wild card round. Maybe the Lions will be in the wild card round if the Vikings steal the division. But I love Jordan Love. I love that coaching staff. I feel like their team is built to win in the playoffs, led by Josh Jacobs on the ground. And also a big reason why I love the Packers, their defense is actually one of the most underrated defenses in the league. They take that ball away, at a very efficient clip. And I feel like the Packers are a team, all of a sudden you can look up at and be like, wait, the Packers can win the Super Bowl. I'm really high in the Packers. I predicted the Packers to win the NFC North when the season started. I was wrong about that because the Lions and the Vikings are just so freaking good. But I feel like last night should wake people up to the idea of the Packers going on a real run this year. In the playoffs, that is.
Anything's possible, Richie. They have a much better chance than the other teams you were asking about. But they still got to show that they can beat the teams in their own division, the Lions and the Vikings. And that's what it's going to come down to at the end of the day. Can they compete in their own division? They're putting up a lot of good wins, but go look at their losses against division rivals primarily. Packers are a good team. They're a solid team. It's just an any given Sunday situation, and one call or one ball goes their way, they win. So you can't count a team like that out, but I don't see them being Super Bowl contenders. I could see them advancing and shocking the world and making an NFC championship game and losing. But that's progress. So we're going to hold out on that for now. And, man, that NFC North is still insane, Richie. You talk about juggernaut teams, Lions, Vikings, Packers, and the lowly Bears.
The lowly Bears. We'll see NFC North matchup tonight, and we shall see. So the NFL playoffs are right around the corner, and luckily TD will be on the couch with me watching it. We'll be doing watch parties. We'll be covering it all here on Roundtable Sports Network. So if you guys want to do us a favor, simply subscribe to this channel if you're not already, and hit the like button, man. We appreciate you guys tuning into this YouTube channel. We're trying to build the network out, and we're at 87 likes. We would appreciate if we can get to 100 likes on this channel, man. We're really excited. Wake Up and Ball has been a joy, and you guys have been making it a lot of fun. So we appreciate you guys big time. All the love to everybody that's been tuning in. You know, there's a few other games that we didn't really get into. I mean, the Colts and the Broncos. Bo Nix had 3 picks, but was still able to win on the backs of his defense, bailing him out. That was an interesting game. The pick 6 that the Broncos had was electrifying. We're going to hear from Colby tonight. Oh, you see Drake May, bro? You see Drake May's little whoa, touchdown. Can I show you something funny? I could not stop laughing when I saw this, man. I have to show you something, and we can all laugh at this together because I love Colby so much because he never changed, my boy. Never changed because
you have a clip?
I don't have a clip, but I have this. This post. You know who manages the Roundtable Sports account? Can you tell by this post?
Yeah, of course.
Drake May creates magic again for the New England Patriots. The Pats have something special with the rookie. I wonder who's... Oh, look who commented. I love how he's managing this account, and this is what he decides to...
commented on it. Yeah, man. Hey, but that's good work by Kobe, by the way. That's good work.
Great work. This is what we mean. But when I saw this, I couldn't stop laughing. I really, really couldn't because... it was a great move from Drake May. Look at that. Rolling to his left. Oh, look at his level flick. Woo, special.
Hey, I feel like he was over that line too, and that's a forward pass.
Yeah, man. It's all good. We're going to hear from Colby. But now we're going to get into it, man. The losers are in the circle. So, TD, you're now in the circle. That's what happens when you're a loser. So thank you guys so much.
I ain't seen you in a circle all season, and you belong.
It started this week. Okay. Yeah. Started this week. So that's the loser circle. This is the winning box. All right. So congratulations to all the winners.
Very convenient.
We will be live on the Huddle at 3 p.m. today. We'll be live on the AFC's Roundtable at 6 p.m. as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Wake Up and Ball show. Any final words, TD?
Listen, man, football has been amazing this season, honestly. You got to be excited about it. Get ready for the last 3 weeks of the season. Big time 3 weeks, a lot of big football. Monday Night Football tonight. Let's enjoy it. We will see y'all back with coverage on that in the morning, 8:30 a.m. with Wake Up and Ball. All right. We love y'all.
Shout out to everybody tuning in. Much love to everybody. Hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. We will see you next time on Wake Up and Ball. Brought to you, empowered by no one else other than BetUS. See you guys later.